All right, welcome back to the Stressed Accountant YouTube channel. We are going to wrap up our talk about working too many hours. This is episode number 8, and this is the final episode in the series about working too many hours. And the question is, what else is causing you to work too many hours? As I said, this is the 4th episode in this month's series, and so far, in the previous episodes, I shared the story of Joe, who was an accountant who struggled with working too many hours. I explained that one of the reasons why we work too many hours as accountants, and I showed you a surprising reason why you work too many hours. So let's wrap this topic up with some other reasons why you work too many hours. Now, the first one, I'm going to write this down, is the concept called buffering. Okay, so buffering is a term that is used to describe the actions that we take to lessen or moderate the impact of something, which results in a net negative effect. For example, let's say you feel anxious. So you buffer by having a few drinks at the end of the day. But unfortunately, you don't get the rest that you need. You wake up not feeling your best, and you can't focus like you would like to with a clear head. Now, the interesting thing is that as science expands in its understanding of the human brain, we now know that over the millennia, the lower primitive brain has been motivated by 3 things. It has been motivated to avoid pain, to seek pleasure, and to be efficient. So when we seek pleasure, our brains release a chemical called dopamine, which gives us a momentary feeling of relief. Therefore, when we use buffering in our lives, it's to lessen the impact of our negative emotions, with overworking being, ironically, one of the buffering activities that I have found the most in accountants. Now, the issue is that while we say that we want happy, authentic, balanced lives, we actually wind up using things like food and social media, and actually we use work to give us a false sense of pleasure. Now, another thing that I see with my coaching clients, the other reason that's causing you to work too many hours is work martyrdom, or being a work martyr. So I'm going to discuss more about this topic in upcoming episodes, but just know that work martyrdom can show you how you might be spending too much time at work. It can show up in various ways, like taking work home so that you can get a jump start on everyone else. It can show up by you not taking all your paid time off because you're afraid it will look bad, or not being able to delegate because you're worried that no one else can do the work as well as you. Now, work martyrdom can also be really sneaky because here's the thing, it's often perceived to be normal, to be necessary, or even rewarded. Now, thankfully, becoming a smarter accountant means being able to drop that thorny crown that we wear when we're being work martyrs, and instead have the professional and the personal life that we desire. When it comes to being smart and driven, the accounting profession, it really does attract some of the best and the brightest, whether it's a high school student in the top 10% of their graduating class, or it's a determined mother or father who studies nights and weekends in order to pass the CPA exam. We are in an industry that requires intelligence and perseverance. Now, while we all know that working as an accountant thankfully has its rewards, there are also many challenges that accountants face as they try to balance their career aspirations in addition to trying to have some semblance of a happy life. There are so many external demands placed on accountants that for the first time, many accountants are literally rethinking their career choice more than ever. When asked, have you ever considered leaving the accounting profession? More than 50% of accountants are saying that they have considered leaving. Now, of course, everyone has their own reasons for considering leaving the profession, but I do know one thing for sure. The lack of work-life balance is a huge part of the reason that so many accountants are considering making a change. While career success is one thing, more and more people are reconsidering accounting as a profession, partly because they just don't want to succumb to burnout. Now, if you think about it, the typical 9 to 5 workday, it really is a thing of the past due to the fact that we are globally connected to our work in one way or another. We're connected 24 hours a day thanks to technology. Right? We're no longer those factory workers of the 1920s punching our time card, punching our time cut out at 5 p.m. and leaving work at work until we punch back in the following day. While we all like to argue that it's the fault of things like the accounting industry, the IRS, or the client demands, among many things, I believe we're overlooking a bigger issue that has everything to do with us and nothing to do with anyone or anything else. The bigger reason why so many accountants work so hard, don't set clear boundaries, and don't feel fulfilled is because we are in an industry of insecure overachievers. Insecure overachievers. This is another reason. If you are not familiar with the term insecure overachiever, author Laura Epson wrote about insecure achievers in her book, Leading Professionals, Power Politics, and Prima Donnas. And what she explains is that in her 25 years of researching leadership and professional service firms, such as accounting firms, she discovered a common thread for many of these intelligent, highly capable professionals. Here's what she found. The driving force behind all the overachieving and ambition and overworking was from a profound sense of their own inadequacy. These professionals weren't overachieving because they believed they were capable or that they were amazing. They were burning themselves out with overachievements because they were constantly chasing proof that they were good enough. And on the surface, it might sound like they were just super diligent and that they were hardworking. But what was really happening was that their insecurity made them feel the need to work harder and work more hours than everyone else in order to prove their worth to themselves and others. So whether you've been told you work too hard or you're rewarded for working harder than everyone else, it might be time to take a look at whether you're an insecure overachiever. Now, you can always continue doing what you're doing, but it might be helpful to understand why you're doing it. And more importantly, whether you like your reasons for doing it. Now, if you want to be a smarter accountant, you need to stop using things like work to make you feel confident and worthy. If you want to stop working too many hours, you have to understand your unique accountant brain and your mindset better. And you need to understand how to manage it. Now, check back next week when I'm going to start a whole new series answering the question, if I'm so smart, why is my life so unbalanced and my time management such an issue? Now, time management is my superpower. It really is one of my specialties. So you're not going to want to miss any of the upcoming episodes. If you are interested in figuring out how to stop working too many hours and figure out why you are, you'll definitely want to schedule a 30-minute call with me to discuss what you're struggling with. Now, I can help you see exactly what's getting in the way, and I'll be able to help you figure out what to do about it. Now, the solution, I've said this before, but the solution to working too many hours is really simple and doable, and I can show you how. So just go below in the link to this video, go below in the description to this video, and you'll see the link to book a 30-minute call with me. And don't forget to check out the other free resources that I have below. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.